what's going on there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. I'm back at it again, actually for a TV show review. It's funny because I've been looking at a lot of different YouTube videos about this show, and I love the characters. I've always loved the characters since I've been a little kid. I'll go ahead and tell you the name of the characters are the Muppets. I've looked at all the movies. I've seen, shoot, I even looked at the Muppet Babies. I remember that. I definitely own somewhere the Muppet movie. I didn't look at the second one because I didn't think it was going to be as good, even though people told me it was actually pretty decent. And now they have their own ABC series, right? So I'm going to be doing reviews on the first 2 episodes that just come out. I'm also going to be going, and I think I might do Screen Queens, or I might do Heroes. I should do Heroes, but everybody's been saying Screen Queen is pretty good. I don't know. But anyway, this is what I'm here for, is the Muppets. So the first episode is named Hostile Makeover. I was like, no, actually the first episode was Pig Girls Don't Cry. So you find out, like, if you've been looking at the actual YouTube videos, you realize that Kermit and Miss Piggy broke up, right? And that Kermit's got a new girlfriend. I think her name's Ian. I forget her name. And then the guys and everybody that's part of the Muppets, they've got their own new series, but based on the YouTube version, like, Miss Piggy wasn't for it, and eventually she was for it because they actually said, okay, this is gonna be under your name, Late Night with Miss Piggy or whatever, right? And so, first off, just the tone of this episode and just the tone of the series, it kind of really does feel like a blend of a late night show and like a real sitcom. Like, it's really dynamic and really funny because they've got different elements there that you've never seen the Muppets in, as well as their adult tone. Because, like, when they're talking about, like, Miss Piggy and Kermit breaking up, I was like, wait, they're not together? And then basically Kermit is alluded to the fact that, like, his life is hell because, like, he's, you know, leading his ex's show, essentially, along with the group that he's known for years, as well as the fact that he's also, I guess, stress eating, and so he's, like, gaining a little weight, and it's pretty funny. And then, like, Fozzie in this episode, he's got a little girlfriend. And it's funny seeing those dynamics because, like, Fozzie is really different from Kermit. Like, he tries to be funny, but Fozzie's never been funny. Fozzie is funny because he's not funny. But when he's interacting with his girlfriend's parents, like, it's it's so funny because he's trying so hard, and they're saying all these offensive things. And, like, I mean, a lot of times, sometimes dates happen like that, you know, and it's not like they're going between, like, a racial issue necessarily, but they do touch on that because there are certain times where people, you know, they're from different ethnic backgrounds, and then when they do interracial dating, sometimes, like, these things happen. And it's just funny because, like, they were, like, joking all on him, man. And at one point he was like, that's offensive to me. That's offensive to me, sir. And I really like that element about this episode. This episode wasn't as funny as the second episode, but what I did like was the small emotional moments of this episode, because you find out later on towards the end of the episode why Miss Piggy, they have been trying to shoot a show, but she didn't want Elizabeth Banks. Elizabeth Banks from The Hunger Games and Pitch Perfect 2, she directed it, she starred in both movies. She didn't want her up there, and Kermit had assumed it was like this one skit where Miss Piggy didn't understand what the heck The Hunger Games was actually about, and it really wasn't even about that, you know. And you find out that later that the reason why she was so upset, it was because of the fact that when they were just out and about at the premiere of, I think, Pitch Perfect 2 or 1, and all of a sudden Kermit just broke down. He was like, I can't take this mess anymore. I can't take you anymore. And, like, he basically breaks up with her, like, right there on the spot. And he didn't remember it. Like, he'd been blocking it out. But, like, when the actual scene actually happens, like, it's a real emotional scene. And that's one of the things I love about the Muppets. Like, Jim Henson knew ways of taking puppets and animating them in such a way that give them real emotional depth, you know, like Treasure Island, Muppet Treasure Island, when like Miss Piggy and Kermit are singing and about to die. I still remember that. Like, that's an emotional moment for me. I got actually like that. And this moment was even true to that as well, because like Miss Piggy, she just broke down, and then she looked at like the poster, and the last thing she had said to Kermit before they broke up was like, "Really, over this?" You know, he's like, "No, over everything." And then he just kind of walked away, and they broke up. And like when he basically said like, "No, Miss Elizabeth is gonna be doing this. Like, I'm putting my foot down. You're doing this." And she's like, "Why is she here?" She broke down because Fozzie was trying to get her to compliment like his girlfriend's parents. That didn't work out because she blew up in their face. And she basically told Kermit like, "You're an insensitive frog." He realized what it was about after that point, and then like he recounted it, talked to her, and she basically was like, "How could you forget that?" You know, and it was a really good scene. Like, I actually really liked it. I thought it was like really entertaining television, you know, which is surprising for freaking, I'm looking at Muppets, but at the same exact time, who doesn't remember and love Cousin Skeeter? Like, I mean, it's the same exact thing. Like, Cousin Skeeter had that theme song. It's like, you love the animation. You love the way that, like, it drew into the characters around them. And that's one of the things about puppets and puppet animation that, like, people don't remember, you know? But that scene was actually really good. But the way it ended was like, yeah, you're fat. And, like, I can notice it. You need to, you know, take care of yourself a little bit better. And basically, Kermit told her, like, look, let's just be honest with each other. So that's why she said that, out of spite. But it ended up pretty well, and the show ended on a good note. But the grumpy old men, they're back. And it's actually pretty funny. But as far as the first episode, I give it maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. Like, I like them being back into the fold. It wasn't as appealing to me. It wasn't that funny necessarily as like the Muppet movie or some of the other ones I've seen. But it was a really good introduction to bringing back into the world of everything and the dynamics. I think even like the freaking drummers no longer are, I guess they alluded they used to be high. And even like there are certain things like that the Kermit and other people would say, and I was like, these are sexual innuendos. What the heck, you know? But I mean, I guess it's I don't know, it's an adult show technically with the Muppets. Anyway, the second episode, I really liked it. I felt that it was funny because they brought on a character that, well, not a character, but they actually brought on an actual person. It was Josh Groban, musical artist, and the reason why he was brought on is because Miss Piggy, she was freaking out, and like Kermit knew the reason why she was freaking out was because she wanted to have a date and she didn't have one, and so that's why she was projecting onto everybody else. And so, like, he decided he wanted to go and set her up with somebody, and he stages this elaborate scene that was actually done really well. And like, it was him and her doing a duet, like Josh and her doing a duet, and Kermit had like the freaking flakes and stuff falling, and the perfect setup, and like it worked out perfectly. Shoot, even the freaking grumpy old men, they started like actually like woo, like one of them at least. He's like, shoot, I'm allowed to feel. I thought that was hilarious. Like, even like Fozzie in this episode, like he got invited to go to Jay Leno's house, and I thought that was actually an interesting set piece because it's allowing them to have different set storylines. What else happened? It was Rizzo's birthday, but no. Oh, Miss Piggy, she started acting nice. Like, nicer than she ever has. Like it was so different, you know. And then all of a sudden, like, she starts, like, you know, progressively making changes to the show based on what Josh's recommendations was, just because of association. But either way, it was interesting because I actually thought that the way that they did it was done pretty well, because that's 9 times out of 10 what would happen. Like, it changes a person to be in a relationship with them for the better or for the worse. But hold on one second. Yep, but I know that was crazy. Don't judge me. Don't freaking judge me. I might edit that out. I might not. But no. Either way, when Josh actually starts presenting like changes and stuff, like telling that the band should change to acoustic instead of actually being a rock band. When they actually have like, what was Miss Piggy telling people to do? Just the whole layout of everything was just so different. and like everybody was starting to feel like the show was sucking. And I was like, Kermit was like, he was stressing out about it because he's like, I have like more peace in my life, but now it's just like, what am I supposed to do because my show sucks? He went out there stress riding. He rides on a golf cart. All of a sudden, he almost runs into Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne is like, yeah, your show sucks, you know? And then like, he's like, dang, you know, he rides along. And then like Lawrence Fishburne comes back, he's like, I'm sorry, you know, I really am sorry. I didn't mean that. Those things as I said, but then at the same time, your show sucked. And I was like, that thing, that cracked me up. There was another thing that Kermit had said. He alluded to, if I ever get into elevator with Leah Thompson. Leah Thompson is the girl that was from Back to the Future, the mom, you know? And that plays out later on in the episode when, like, towards the end, and like, he's in there with her, you know, and he's like, oh, goodness, you know? And then, all of a sudden, like, Gonzo just comes up in there talking about his mom, and he ruins the whole entire thing. But the way they resolved the situation with Miss Piggy, Kermit is a genius. Kermit straight up is a G. He goes and decides that, you know what, I'm gonna give her exactly what she wants. And he basically takes, instead of it saying presented by, you know, the Muppets or whatever, it says presented by Josh XYZ, Miss Piggy's show, you know, and he knew that that would mess her mind up, and sure enough, she just went off, and she was like, nope, can't do it, you know, like, at the point that he had said, like, you are the only female that's got their own show at late at night, and you're an individualist, and all this kind of stuff, and he just knew how to push her buttons perfectly. He knows her so well that I feel like he's gonna break up with his girlfriend, and by the end of the season, I'm pretty sure they're gonna either one, like, cheat together, or like they're gonna end up back together because they still have a lot of connection. Like that's not something that's just gonna go away. Even the bear, he had like a small like section of a scene where he was trying to sell cookies to everybody, and then this news reporter dude kept on going in, homing in on his cookie ring, and like it was a funny story because he was trying to do it for his daughter. And then eventually, it kind of works out in the long term, but it was just funny. I like the way in this episode that they treated all the different characters. Like, they treated the bear, they treated Miss Piggy, they had a special guest, they had other people and dynamics that were actually going on. The only thing I didn't say about the first episode is they had Imagine Dragon actually playing, and that was freaking awesome. Like, I really liked that they actually had like a closing act for it. But either way, no, it was a good episode. I actually liked this one. I thought it was a lot more funnier, and more appealing. That's weird, because the same thing happened with Empire. Like, first episode of Empire I didn't like, and second episode I really didn't. But anyway, so the second episode I would give it, and the name of that second episode was Hostile Makeover. I give it a 8.5. I actually really liked it. I thought it was really funny. It made me want to see more on what's going to go on, because I feel like Miss Piggy's going to start dating around with everybody now. Because that's, you know, once you get back on the bandwagon, like, and you lose something or you let something go, you're not going to stop. And that's what, like, is going to bite Kermit in the behind. I feel like the way that it ended with Leah Thompson was karma for him ending the relationship with Miss Piggy's, like, boyfriend at the time. But either way, I actually liked the episode. Hopefully you enjoyed my review for the Muppets. Episode 1 and 2 of the first season on ABC. If you like to check it out, it's on Hulu right now, as well as the ABC app. But definitely tune in on October the 6th. That's going to be the next episode, episode 3. I may do more reviews of this. I'm not sure. If y'all like this, then leave in the comment section below. If y'all want me to do more reviews for the Muppets, I will. And leave a like if you actually like this review. Thanks everybody for watching. Muppets.